it's your girl Fee Stefan here, and welcome back to another episode of Offbeat Black Girl Podcast. I'm always super excited to have you guys tune in to another episode, and so let's get right into it. This episode is going to be a little bit different. It's entitled Letter to My Mom, and what it is going to be is just all things I want to be able to say to her that for whatever reason I can't. Our communication has never been good. We have a very hot and cold relationship, and as of late, it's been more cold. And I think for a long time, I've joked it off and laughed it off. I have really dark, dry humor. And so a lot of it, I really just, pretended it wasn't a big deal to me just because it was easier. And that's a lie. It's painful and it hurts and it bothers me a lot. And I want to be able to express that. So this is just going to be everything that I want to say to this amazing woman that brought me into the world. Just get it off my chest. Yesterday, really, I thought about this topic and I went back and forth with myself on whether I was going to do it or not. And I got like teary-eyed just thinking about doing it. And that should have been like the solidification that, yeah, girl, you need to get this out. The whole point of this podcast is for me to really delve deep into my self-healing journey, to be able to address things that cause me stress and cause me anxiety and talk through them. And my mom is a big trigger for my stress and anxiety in my relationship with her. So I don't know why that wasn't like topic number one. But, here we are. And this morning I did a card pull from my tarot deck. And I have the Goddess deck. It's so amazing. If you are into that sort of thing, I'll definitely check out this deck. It's amazing. But one of the cards that I pulled this morning was denial. And so I went back and forth in my head, like, I wonder what this card is about. I'm not in denial about anything. Life is amazing. And it made me think about the topic that, I was kind of going back and forth with yesterday. And I was like, you know what I'm in denial about? You know what you are in denial about, Fee? Your mom. You are still in this like fairy tale ride thinking that things are going to get better. And even your mom told you this year that you needed to be realistic about you guys' relationship. So my mom did tell me earlier this year, when I was going through my normal, you should come visit me, you should do this, you should do that I needed to be realistic about our relationship. And that really hurt me. And I keep that in the back of my brain so that I don't call and I don't, nag her or whatever else. But I don't think I really thought about the full extent of what she was saying, that our relationship is not going to be what I want it to be. And I need to be realistic about that. What I have in my mind or what I'm hoping for or what's on my, dream list or Christmas list for this relationship, it ain't that. And the sooner I realize that, maybe the better off I would be. But still, at 36, I want my mom. I want my mom, So this is a way for me to get out at least most of my thoughts and feelings, and hopefully start that healing journey to move forward. And it looks like that forward is going to be without her. So let me start off by giving you guys some background, right? So my mom, when I was growing up, literally prettiest lady I'd ever seen, right? She was just drop dead gorgeous to me, and I wanted to be just like her when I grew up. Like, I remember she had long jet black hair. She had this like cocoa brown skin, these pearly white teeth, these big doe eyes, naturally long eyelashes, natural eyebrows, because I have to feel my end sometime. And she used to wear this cherry jubilee red lipstick. And I couldn't wait to be old enough to wear this lipstick, right? Because I wanted to look just like her. Everything about her was amazing to me. She was the best cook. She was the best singer. She was the best dancer, the best dresser. Like, she was the bee's knees. And I just wanted to be just like her. Even to this day, I still wear cherry jubilee lipstick, and I still feel extra special when I do it. But she was everything to me. She was everything to me. And I look back on that time, or I think back on that time, and I think, my mom was probably my first love. They always be like, the dad is a girl's first love. Not for Fee. My mom was my first love. I was obsessed with her. I just thought she could do no wrong, and I just wanted to make her happy. And for a long time, that was the case. I spent a lot of time just trying to get her approval, even into my early 30s, where I just wanted her to be proud of me. I wanted her to say, good job, you're doing great, I'm so proud of you. And that really came from me being a little girl, just wanting her to acknowledge me. And for a little bit, that was the case. Some of my best memories with her, I remember we read Hungry, Hungry Caterpillar. Now, this is definitely showing my age, as I know this book is probably not around, but in the book, this caterpillar is like going to all these different places, and like on one page he eats an orange, and then one page he takes 2 bites out of an apple, and then like 3 bites out of a banana, and in the end he turns into a butterfly. And I remember her buying all this construction paper and the little googly eyes, you can glue on there. And we made this caterpillar. We had to put them up on the walls and everything. And it was so nice. She was always so creative, We read Green Eggs and Ham one time, and she went and got the food coloring so that we can actually have green eggs and ham. And I remember my brother like putting all these different color dyes in there, and all his food was black. But she didn't say anything. He ate it. It looked disgusting, but those are some of my fonder memories with my mom. I remember walking to McDonald's, just pushing my brother in the stroller, me and my sister right behind her, and getting like, the little ice cream cones from McDonald's, and having ice cream everywhere, and just walking back and just being so happy. My mom made me so happy, and I associated happiness with her. And somewhere that changed. To this day, I don't know why. Part of me feels like it was around the time that her and my father got a divorce. And I think something in my mom broke. I think something in my mom broke that maybe won't ever be fixed. And when that happened, she changed. She was a different woman. She wasn't the mom that I knew her to be. Like, in every, little bit, I would get like a glimpse of her. a glimpse of that woman that I was just absolutely madly in love with. But mostly we got that shell of my mom, the one that was just going through the motions, like trying to make it happen for us. And don't get me wrong, we were never homeless. We were never hungry. We had clothes and shoes on our back and things like that. But I feel like a lot of that emotional, a lot of that love and support and a lot of what I used to get, that part was gone. Like she could go through the motions of taking care of us, providing food and shelter and things like that. But that emotional love and support, I think that broke when my dad left. And she couldn't shake it. She couldn't shake it. I don't know if part of us reminded her of him, maybe. And maybe that was hard. And then she ended up being a single mom of 3. And I know that was difficult. And as I get older, right, as I've gotten older, I learned that hurt people hurt people. You know, we say that all the time. We know that. And I have a bit more grace for her just as a mom, and knowing how sometimes that's hard. It's hard trying to take care of other people when you're trying to take care of yourself. It's hard to put someone else needs before your own and do for others when you barely can get yourself up. You barely can get yourself out of bed, but you got to push forward. I know that she was a young mom. I know that she was just like me, still trying to figure it out. I know she went through her own trauma and anxiety and stress and depression. And I know all these things, and that allows me to give her a bit more grace, especially, like I said, as I get older and I'm still trying to maneuver through life, pushing 40. That doesn't change the hurt. It might make me process it a little bit different. But yeah, it was rough. It was rough. I don't feel like, and this is just my opinion, because this is me talking about how I feel. And, I'm sure family or friends of family or anybody else who knows our dynamic and situation may think differently. But for me, she was not emotionally available the way she should have been for her children. And maybe that came from the fact that she just didn't know how anymore, or she just didn't have the capacity to do it anymore. I remember one time I wanted to go to the beach with, one of my friends, this girl I went to school with, middle school. And her mom was taking her and her siblings, and I really wanted to go. And I remember I was a socially awkward preteen and teenager. So for me to have a friend was a huge deal. Not only did I have a friend, I had a friend that wanted me to go somewhere with them. So that was like such a big deal. And I remember knowing how my mom is, I wrote a letter to her. And I wrote down all the pros of me going and all these things, all these wonderful things. But on the other side, I also wrote all the cons, right? Everything that I thought she would come up with so that I couldn't go, right? I was like, it's too far. I've never traveled by myself, or who's going to give me the money, or whatever else. I wrote all this stuff down. And then I wrote rebuttals to it. Like I would use my allowance, or I would save up, or her mom said she would cover it, or grandma said she'd give me $10. Whatever it was, I filled in all the cons. So I thought I had this whole thing together. And I remember taking the letter and knocking on her door, and being like, I have this letter for you. I want you to read this letter. And my mom took the letter and she balled it up in my face. She didn't even read it. She didn't even read it. She didn't even take the time to see what I wanted, see what I needed, see what my thoughts or opinions were. She just balled it up. Like it didn't matter. Like I didn't matter. And closed her door and went back in her room. That hurt. That hurt a lot. That hurt a lot. I felt very small and unimportant to her. And at that point, it wasn't even about the trip anymore. It wasn't even about the trip anymore. It was about the fact that she didn't even bother to give me the time of day. And I remember shrinking myself after that, where I was just like, if I stay out of her way, if I make good grades, if I'm quiet, if I do what she says, she'll love me like she used to. She'll pay attention to me like she used to. She'll be proud of me like she used to. And maybe she'll want to do stuff with me like she used to. She'll want to make caterpillars, or she'll want to dye food, or she'll want to walk to McDonald's, or she'll just... But hurt people hurt people. And my mom was hurt, is still hurt. And so she could not give that to me. As badly as I wanted it, as badly as I needed it, she was incapable of giving it to me or my brother or sister. And I did a lot of suppressing of my feelings and my emotions during this time frame because I didn't feel like she wanted to hear them. If I was angry, if I was sad, if I was upset, if I was worried, if I was scared, I would not communicate that to her because I didn't feel like she cared, you know. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone else bothered me, for sure, my mom would be like Mama Bear and come in and save the day. Hands down. I used to have a babysitter that was abusive to me, that would pinch me and torment me and tease me about my skin color. And, my sister is a lot lighter than me. And she would the babysitter would make so much fun of me, my skin tone. I was brown, I was ugly, I was this, and my sister was so beautiful. My sister was little then. She was like 3 or 4 maybe. So that would have put me around 6 or 7, maybe 5, 6, 7. And she was just so mean to me. I looked like doo-doo. I looked ugly and was constantly like just pinching me and shoving me and pushing me. And I was terrified of her. And I remember my sister telling my mom, and my mom like going over there and like trying to kill this lady, and that made me feel protected and loved. Like I could always come to her and she got my back. But she couldn't protect me from her. She couldn't protect me from her rages in the times that she put me down and made me feel less than. She couldn't protect me from that. And I think I just couldn't take it anymore. So at 15, I cut my wrist in an attempted suicide. And my sister found me, was unconscious from bleeding out. And I don't remember much, but I remember waking up in the hospital with my wrist bandaged. My brother and sister weren't there. So I'm assuming somebody had taken them somewhere. But I remember waking up in the hospital. And I remember the doctor or nurse saying, "We called your mom. She's on her way home from work." And I remember being terrified. Like, oh my God, you guys called her. You guys called her. Why? Like, she's going to be so pissed off. And I remember the nurse trying to console me and just being like, it's fine. She was so concerned. She's on her way, this and that. And me being like, why did I do this? Because she would be so angry with me. Not thinking something's going on with you, Felicia, and you need help. But just thinking how upset she would be with me. And I remember she got there and she opened the hospital door, the room door, and she said, "I knew you would do something like this." That was the first thing she said to me. Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "What's going on?" Not, "Talk to me, I'm here." She said, "I knew you would do something like this." And I still don't know what that means, right? I don't know if she was saying that I'm some type of drama queen and she knew I would do something like that. I don't know if she was saying she saw the signs of my depression and was worried I would do something like that. Like, I keep trying to change it in my mind. But just like her telling me to be realistic, that's what I gotta do. I gotta, even with that statement, "I knew you would do something like this." That's what she meant. She was annoyed when she said it. She was annoyed, highly. Like, I had to leave work for this bullshit. Like, and I remember just looking at her like, I'm never going to be enough. Even in this moment where I am the lowest, you still found something to criticize me about. I don't know. I was tired. I was a 15-year-old and I was exhausted. I was exhausted with being me. I was exhausted with trying to be what I thought she wanted and it not being enough. Maybe it was a cry for attention. Maybe it was a way for her to see me. But it didn't work. She still didn't see me. She saw an annoyance, an inconvenience, a distraction. I had to leave work for this. I knew you would do something like this. So I had a choice of whether I wanted to go to a behavioral health clinic or whether I wanted to go home. And I was terrified to go home. My mother believed in whooping her kids. She did. She believed in whooping her kids, and she believed in telling her brothers and sisters they should probably whoop my cousins. And I was terrified to go home. So I said, I want to go to the clinic. And that's where I spent a good chunk of my teenage time. Before moving in with my dad my senior year and then joining the military at 17. But even with all that, I still wanted my mom I still wanted her approval, and I spent so much in my 20s and my 30s doing things to get her approval. I married the first guy I ever dated. And I'm not talking about like your little high school crush or things like that. My very first boyfriend, when I joined the military, I married him at 18 because I was so excited to tell my mom I got married and I'm a wife, you know. I had my first son at 19. Now I'm a mom, right? I got your first grandchild. That's exciting. And I stayed with my mom a good bit of my pregnancy, and that was good. That was a good time for us. She was excited about her first grandson, and she seemed happy to have me there, and I was happy to be there. I was happy to be a part of her life. And what I realized is that starting from my childhood, you know, starting from the time my parents got divorced and my mom switched gears, right? I have been chasing that version of my mom, caterpillar, green eggs and ham mom, my whole entire life. I've been chasing that version of my mom to this very day. I want hungry, hungry caterpillar mom back. And because of that, I accepted any version of my mom that she was willing to give me. Any version, no matter what that looked like, I was going to take it. I was going to take it and run with it because it was something. It was attention. It was something. Even when those versions hurt, even when those versions weren't conducive to my mental health, even when those versions triggered my anxiety and caused me to spiral in yet another depressive state, I still wanted to hold on to it because that's my mom. That's my first love. That was my everything. She was my everything. You know, I think back on it and I'm like, my mom was the first person that I saw. I was premature, 2 pounds, 3 ounces, I think. Due date was December 6th. I was born September 20th. So I was in the NICU for a long time. And my mom was there. She see me happy. She see me sad. She see me angry. She see me rock bottom. She see me high up, successful. She knows me. I feel like she don't know me as well as an adult because I haven't had the opportunity to show her me. But she knows me. So why wouldn't you want to be a part of my life? You made me. You made me. So many of my characteristics and my mannerisms and the way my face is shaped and the way my body is shaped and the way I walk and the way I move, so much of that comes from her. I don't understand why she didn't want to be a part of that. And even more so as a mom myself, I just can't see myself just not being a part of my kids' life. Even when I'm frustrated at them and I want to just shake the crap out of them, those boys are my lifeline. My lifeline. I just can't imagine not being there for the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. I want it all. I want it all. I want first steps. I want first day of kindergarten. I want senior pictures. I want college dorm move-in day. I want first grandchild. I want to be there on your wedding day. I want family vacations. I want it all. I want to be a part of it all. I can't imagine missing out on these milestones in my kid's life, and not even just the milestones, the little things, the first dances, the pizza nights, the new video game. Let me show you how to play, even though I know you don't know how to play the Xbox. I can't imagine not being a part of that. And I sit back and I'm like, don't you want to be a part of that for me? Don't you want to hear about my new job? Don't you want to hear about my new relationship? Don't you want to hear how my day went? How I am rapidly turning gray and I can't figure out how to slow it down? How I worry if I'm a good mom? How I tried this recipe like you did it one time and it didn't turn out the same way. And what am I doing wrong? How I think I'm shrinking as I get older. I want to share so much of my life with her. And, it used to be the religious differences, She was Jehovah's Witness and I was not. And that used to be a thing. That's why we couldn't connect the way I wanted us to. But then I would see other moms who are Jehovah's Witness and see their relationship with their non-witness kids. And then be like, well, how come she still gets to talk to her mom? Well, how come she's still invited to their cookout? Well, how come I see on Facebook they're still doing date nights and spa days and lunch dates and all this stuff like that? Well, how come? Oh, so just the way you chose to interpret it. And I was jealous. I was jealous of those girls and their moms. What girl doesn't want their mom? I don't know. I can only speak for me. I want my mom. I want my mom so bad it hurts. And I try to be realistic like she asked me to. And I suck at it. I suck at it because part of me still feels like it'll get better. It'll be better. We'll be better. We'll look back on this and laugh. We'll look back on this and be like, I hate. We wasted all that time, but we're good now. We're not going to dwell in the past. We're just going to move forward. But like with any relationship, it's a two-way street. It takes two to tango. And I can't do it by myself. And part of me just doesn't reach out anymore because I'm just really tired of being rejected. I'm really tired of trying by myself. And I'm so angry with her. I'm so pissed off with her because it doesn't have to be this way. I remember me and my sister being like, at this because me and my sister are the only one that have children. My brother doesn't have children. And so me and my sister live in the same city. We were telling my mom, you could move here to the city that we're in. And me and her would split your rent. And you could be rent free if you want to get your apartment and you could just be here with us. And you could see your grandkids all the time. And you could go to lunch with us and we could have Sunday dinners and we could just hang out and be normal. I want hungry caterpillar mom. I just want my mom. I want my mom. At almost 40 years old, I want my mom. I want to be able to talk to her. when I'm frustrated with my kids and get her advice, I want to be able to talk to her about my work day. I want to be able to ask her about our favorite shows and see what she thinks is going to happen on the season finale. I want her to tell me. I want her to tell me that she's proud of me, that she sees how hard I'm working. I want her to tell me that she loves me and mean it. And, I had this conversation with someone just last week, and they were like, your mom loves you. Your mom misses you. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't know that. How am I supposed to know that? You want me to just assume that because she gave me life that she loves me and misses me? Why would I think that? Why would I? Why? No, I don't know that. Because as I said to that person in that conversation, for me, love is an action word, right? You wouldn't accept a relationship with your partner if they said, I love you. Girl, I love you. But their actions didn't show that they did. You wouldn't accept a relationship with anyone where they said, I miss you. I miss you. I miss you so much. I think about you every day. But they make no effort whatsoever to close that gap of missing you, to try to be around you, to try to see you, to try to talk to you. Just pick up the phone and see how you're doing. I remember last month or month before, I was talking to my sister and I said, let's call mom. Just make sure she's okay. Make sure she's all right. Shoot, make sure she's still alive. I mean, I hadn't heard anything, but I'm assuming somebody would call me if something happened, but just to check. And we did. She was okay. And it was like a 3-minute conversation. And that was it. I just want so much more for my relationship. And I think I'm so angry because I don't know why it can't be that way. I don't understand why it can't be that way. Even with the religious differences, right? I'm just like, I don't want you to change that about yourself. If this is the religion that you subscribe to, by all means, subscribe to it. I respect it. I respect that as your decision. And allow you the freedom to do that. I just need you to respect that's not what I subscribe to, and that be okay. And we don't have to talk about the Bible. We don't have to talk about Jesus. We don't have to talk about African spirituality or Yoruba practices or anything like that. We don't have to compare notes and say who's right or who's wrong. We can just have a mother-daughter relationship. And we could be like, how some people we're the best of friends, but politics is off limits because we cannot talk about politics. That could just be us. We could just not talk about religion. But you can still be here for me. A lot of my life has been hard, and a lot of that hard she has contributed to. But also a lot of that hard she could have helped by just being someone to listen to me, by just being someone I could pick up the phone and call. And I don't want it to be a relationship where, if you call me, I'll be there. I don't know that. I don't know that at all. And I don't need you here if I got a husband that's beat my ass. Or if I find myself homeless. I don't need you to always have some bad news to gossip or spread about me. I don't need you to show up when I'm down and out. so you could go back and just be like, oh, I had to help her do blah, blah, blah. Oh, this happened to her. I want you to be here on the good times. I want you to come to a cookout and eat until you're stuffed on all the food that I made, that I've learned how to perfect over the years. I want you to be here for my son's first job. I want you to be here for my son's play. I want you to be here for movie nights and family nights and game nights. I want to pick up the phone and call you about this something funny I heard on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. I want you to be here for all those good times too. And I just want you to be here for me. And for so long, I spent so much time trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I feel like that little girl again that's constantly in her head about what she's doing wrong. Like, maybe if I'm this way or maybe if I'm that way. And because of that, I feel like that had a lot to do with how I maneuvered in other relationships, where I was, even in the one with my abusive ex-husband, I was constantly like, what am I doing wrong? What can I do to not make him so angry? What can I do to, keep everything, quiet and mild around here and keep everything peaceful around here? When instead I should have, at a young age, been instilled with the confidence to know that it's not me. Sometimes it's not me, it's someone else, and that it's not always what I have to fix or what I need to do differently. But because I struggle so much with my self-worth and self-identity and self-esteem and everything else, I always just assumed that the problem was me. And to this day, I go back and forth with, I wonder what I'm doing wrong. I have to be exactly this way in order for my mom to show me the type of love that I need. Maybe if I was a Jehovah's Witness, she loved me better. Maybe if I did do things this way, she loved me more. And because of the strain on the relationship between me and my mother, it is slowly trickled down to a strain on her relationship with my kids. They don't see her hardly ever. She don't come visit. She don't really ask for them to visit her. She's missing so much of their lives. She's missing so much, and they are freaking awesome. They are so cool and so smart and so funny, and she's missing that. She's missing all of that. The sucky part is that one day she's not going to be here. My mom lives 2 hours away from me, and I never see her. Maybe once a year. Maybe. 2 hours away from me, and I can barely get a phone call. And then when I call her, it's super awkward. Like, she's answering just to make sure nobody died or nobody hurt. But once she's confirmed that, what are we doing? But there is going to be a day and time where the woman that I adore will no longer be here. There's going to be a time where I cannot pick up the phone to call her, where I cannot ride past the blue house on her road with the yellow front door. There's going to be a time where I have to bury my mom, and all the things that I want to say to her, I can't say. And that makes me even more angry because she is here now. She's here now and she's wasting so much time being her. And I don't know whether it's pride or what, but she is wasting so much precious time. And we all know we don't know when our last day here is. We don't know when that is. And for all I know, I might not be here tomorrow. And then what you gonna do then, mama? What if I'm not here tomorrow? What if I walk out the door today and something happens to me and I'm not here tomorrow? And all that time that you wasted, that you could have been with me, spent with me, learned me, grown with me, helped me, advised me, guided me, loved me. Forget if you weren't here. What if I wasn't here? I don't know if I'll ever really, really heal from this part. I don't know if I'll ever really be completely healed. I know talking about it helps. I know getting it out helps. I wish I had a setting to where I could talk to her directly without any bias, without any animosity. Just hear me. But she's still that woman that balled up that paper. She's not willing. And then I feel like even if she was willing to hear me out, it won't change anything. She's not going to do anything different. She's got kids out here that would give their right arm for her approval, for her time, for her attention. And she's just dead set in her ways to be who she is. And that's something I'm going to have to figure out a way to get over. And all the love I have for my mom, I just have to pour into my own children. And it sucks and it hurts and I don't know how long it's going to hurt. But the more I talk about it, the more I cry about it, the more I get it out, the more I don't hold it in, the more I don't suppress my emotions like I did at 15. The more that I acknowledge that I'm human and I can feel and it's okay for me to still want my mama though I'm a grown ass woman. The more that I do that, the better I am. The better version of myself I can give to others. The ones that do care about me, that are in my corner. Because eventually I will probably get to the point where it doesn't hurt as much. I don't want her as much. I don't miss her as much. And that part scares me too. I don't want to get there. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be somebody who don't care about their mama. But I promised myself I would be real. I promised myself that I would be honest with me. I wasn't going to let me down anymore by suppressing my real feelings, my real emotions, my real thoughts. I wasn't going to let nobody ball no paper up on me no more. I was going to speak my mind and get out what I had to say regardless. This This go round, this healing journey is personal. It's personal to me. I'm doing this for me. I can't do it for her. I can't do it for my kids. I gotta do it for me. That's the only way it's gonna stick. And it feels good to get it out. Mama, I love you. I love you so much. To the moon and back. I adore you. I miss you. But I love me more. I love me enough to be realistic. And according to my carpool this morning, not be in denial, I realized that things won't get better. But I have to get better. I have to get better for me. I gotta do better. One way I can do that is by breaking generational curses, by not repeating that cycle of unavailability with my own children, to be emotionally available. And on the days I'm not, to be honest with my children, to let them know that your mother is human. I am imperfect. And there will be days where it's harder than others. I don't love you any different, but I need this time for myself to figure out what I'm doing to be the best version of me for you, to be transparent with them. They deserve that. And to provide them unconditional love, and to provide that love the way they want to be loved. To love them with everything I got in me. Because I made these people. I made these people. One day at a time. One day at a time. Thank you guys. I know this was a really emotional episode, but I thank you so much for tuning in and hanging with me. It's a little bit longer than normal as well, but hanging with me and rocking with me. This self-healing journey when it comes to my mom is long overdue. And I think for so long I've been unable to heal because I've been in denial. I've been holding on to what shoulda, coulda, woulda. I've been holding on to what I wanted instead of what was real. And I was unable to heal because maybe part of me felt like I didn't have anything to heal from because it would get better. So I'm starting that from this day. And it's going to be days where it's tougher than others, but I am making a commitment to me to be better. Remember, if you guys ever want to reach me, if you got comments or questions or just, you just want to pull my ear about this topic or any topic you've heard on this podcast or any of these episodes, remember you can reach me at offbeatblackgirl@gmail.com. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.